Muto Mitsuki is summoned from Japan to another world by the king of Grisarika Kingdom, who measures him for a power called Pure Concept. Mitsuki is surprised when the king summons a girl from Japan, while he is thrown out of the castle. He meets a priestess called Menu who explains people from Japan with powers called Lost Ones have been summoned throughout history, so many in fact that Japanese culture took over the world. She also explains that besides the commoners, society is split between the nobility, the noblesse, and the church, the Faust. Exploring his power, Mitsuki discovers his Pure Concept is highly destructive in nature. Menu kills him instantly, revealing she is an assassin for the church specializing in killing lost ones before they can harm the world. She reports to Archbishop Orwell her successful kill, and the existence of the second lost one, the girl summoned after Mitsuki. A flashback shows Menu's village was destroyed by a lost one before being assassinated by Flare, the assassin who trained Menu. Menu is assisted by Momo, her aide who is obsessed with her. Soldiers attack, revealing the king wants to use the girl's unusually powerful Pure Concept to overthrow the church and rule without their interference. Menu kills the soldiers, then infiltrates the castle where the Japanese girl, Akari Takedo, is being kept. Akari reveals her Pure Concept as a healing ability before Menu assassinates her. However, upon Akari's death her power activates, revealing it is actually the Pure Concept of time, and it reverses her body to before her death, reviving her with no idea she just died. Contacting Orwell, she reveals Akari's power makes her immune to assassination. Immensely worried about a Pure Concept that manipulates time, Orwell demands Akari be brought to her in Garm in 3 days for a ceremony that should kill her. Menu finds Akari is absent-minded but also a romantic who desires adventure. She convinces her the ceremony will send her back to Japan, but Akari is disappointed as she feels meeting Menu was fate. The church arrests King Grisarika for heresy. Momo is not happy Menu has to spend time with a target and insists on secretly traveling with them to Garm. Menu warns Akari not to use her power, but almost straight away she uses it to heal a little girl's injured hand, forcing Menu to distract nearby royal soldiers so they don't notice. Akari is impressed at Menu's powers. Momo notices Grisarika's warlike daughter Ashuna on the same train to Garm. Menu feels sorry for Akari that she is taking her to her death. Terrorists seeking Ashuna take over the train. Momo learns the terrorists want to trade Ashuna for their imprisoned leader. Heading to the roof of the train, Momo meets Ashuna who, seeing Momo as a priestess, attacks her and deduces that her target Aka must be on the train. The defeated terrorists reveal theirs is a suicide mission as ether crystals they swallowed earlier absorb their body and craft an armored warrior to destroy the train. Momo and Ashuna fall off the train during their fight. The warrior damages the train's engine, causing it to speed up uncontrollably. Menu, Ashuna, and Momo suddenly experience extreme deja vu, and Menu is joined by Akari, who says she was worried. Menu defeats the warrior, then punishes Akari for putting herself at risk and making her use more power to fight defensively. Realizing she hasn't enough power left, Menu is forced to borrow power from Akari to stop the train, leaving them exhausted but thrilled. Momo is annoyed when her duel with Ashuna lasts long into the next morning with no end in sight. Menu can't shake the uncomfortable feeling that the train actually did crash and kill everyone, including herself, meaning Akari must have actually reversed time for the entire world by several minutes, and saved everyone. As Menu and Akari continue their journey to Garm, Menu recalls her childhood after she was rescued by Flare. Having had her soul bleached as the side effect of her village being destroyed, Menu has lost all of her desires and motivations, only feeling compelled to follow Flare wherever she goes. After witnessing Flare killing numerous lost ones, Menu decides to become Flare's apprentice despite Flare's warnings that executioners like her are villains. Intrigued by Menu's sudden determination, Flare decides to train Menu to become a perfect copy of her. In the present, Menu and Flare arrive at Garm, and Akari asks Menu to take her on a date and show her around the city later. At the cathedral, Orwell welcomes the two girls, saying the special chamber will be ready in 2 days. In the meantime, Menu is tasked with investigating the mysterious disappearances of young girls. Menu assigns Momo, who managed to evade Ashuna, to take care of the investigation so she can keep her promise with Akari to go out on a date. Menu and Akari continue to spend time with each other before heading to the special chamber, where Menu prepares to witness Akari's death. Meanwhile, Momo continues to investigate the case of the missing women and follows a lead into the underground sewers. There, she finds Ashuna, who proposes joining together into a temporary alliance to figure out what is going on below Garm. Underneath the palace, the two girls discover a summoning chamber, proving the noblesse in Garm are involved in summoning. However, Ashuna points out that the noblesse do not possess the knowledge of summoning, which is exclusive only to the Faust, meaning a high-ranking Faust must be collaborating with them. Momo realizes that the only person capable of such a thing is Orwell, and sends a warning to Menu before she and Ashuna are attacked by monsters. Menu tries to interrupt the ritual but is cornered by Orwell, who explains that she plans to use the chamber to erase Akari's mind so she can use her pure concept to reverse her aging, effectively becoming immortal. Orwell was in fact responsible for the missing women, as she was attempting to use them in failed youth experiments before Akari was summoned. Intending to use Menu as a sacrifice to power the ritual, Orwell summons a monster to attack her. While Menu fights Orwell's monster, the Archbishop reveals that it was her messing with an Outworlder's power that destroyed Menu's home village. Just as she is about to get sacrificed, Akari's power of pure concept takes effect automatically, retrieving her memories, soul and spirit to a certain time point and allowing her to consciously use her pure concept to full effect before she willingly erases her conscious knowledge about her power again. When one of the monsters she and Ashuna are fighting destroys her hair ribbons, which were a gift from Menu, Momo goes berserk and damages the palace, and then attacks Orwell's cathedral, allowing Akari to rejoin Menu. Menu taps into Akari's pure concept, super aging Orwell to death, and Ashuna takes her leave. During their joining, however, Menu and Akari have troubling visions of their future together, in which Akari unwillingly causes Menu to die after the latter failed to kill her. Akari wishes for Menu, and only Menu, to kill her before that happens. Menu realizes that the visions are actually flashbacks from the future, and that Akari has used her pure concept to rewind time by several months after she had caused Menu's death, which also made Akari lose her conscious memories of their time together. Menu takes Akari to the sanctuary, purportedly a residential area for lost ones. They make a stop at Libelle, a port city and the site where one of the 4 major human errors, the Pandemonium, had manifested and was sealed away. The city is also a base for the Fourth, a group of which Count Libelle, the city's ruler, and his daughter Manon are also members and who have a deadly feud with Flare. Upon learning of Menu's presence in the town, the Fourth decide to assassinate her, fearing that she might interfere with their current plans. Meanwhile, Menu decides to eliminate Akari by drugging her and sending her through the fog wall which isolates the Pandemonium from the rest of the world. But Akari's power activates once more, sending her back to Menu's side. Additionally, Menu's resolve is beginning to falter as she begins to develop feelings for Akari. Meanwhile, Manon leads a young girl into an Iron Maiden-like device which harvests her blood. With the attempt to trap Akari in Pandemonium a failure, Menu returns to Libelle with her only to be ambushed by members of the Fourth. The attackers are defeated and arrested, but are forcibly turned into monsters by Manon to prevent them from spilling any secrets. The other members of the Fourth confront Manon, as Monstrine is supposed to be an addictive and euphoric substance to be sold to fund their operation, as well as hold people hostage with the threat of using the Monstrine to turn them into monsters. Manon reveals that she secretly slipped Monstrine into their food, leaving them no choice but to follow her orders as she continues her plans against Menu as revenge for the death of her mother. Menu is tasked by Pastor Silica to stop the production of Monstrine in return for travel funds. Momo begins to investigate the source of the Monstrine and encounters Ashuna again, who is also investigating the Fourth. Menu is able to secure an invitation to a ball Manon is hosting, but is forced to bring Akari with her when she insists on attending as well. Menu uses the ball to infiltrate Libelle Island in order to find evidence implicating Manon in Monstrine production, but she encounters Ashuna, who challenges her to a duel. With no other choice, Menu battles Ashuna and is able to evade her, but loses her chance to scout the castle. Meanwhile, Akari regains her memories again and realizes events in this timeline have diverged significantly from the previous ones. Manon then approaches her, revealing she knows Akari is a lost one. Determined to figure out why the timeline has diverged, Akari follows Manon. Momo infiltrates the Monstrine production facility and opens the Iron Maiden, finding the girl inside. However, this triggers an explosive trap that leaves Momo incapacitated from a poison spike. Learning of what Momo has discovered, Menu asks Pastor Silica to have the authorities surround Libelle Island since they now have enough evidence linking Manon and the Fourth to Monstrine production. As the authorities lay siege to the island, Akari confronts Manon, intending to get answers from her. Manon reveals that somebody informed her that Akari has regressed the timeline multiple times, which was how she was able to take action to change it, by gaining the knowledge to obtain forbidden power. She uses Monstrine to give herself a living shadow, and attacks Akari, but Menu arrives just in time to save her. Menu then faces off against Manon, who reveals she wanted to obtain taboo power to provoke the Faust into killing her, just like they did to her mother, a lost one who was killed by Flare. Menu mortally wounds Manon, who uses her death as a sacrifice to summon the young girl, who reveals herself to be the human error Pandemonium. Like Akari, Pandemonium can't be killed due to the nature of her pure concept, which will automatically regenerate her every time she is killed. Pandemonium then challenges Menu to find a way to kill her as she summons an army of monsters. Menu continues to battle Pandemonium, but soon begins to run out of ether. Fortunately, Ashuna arrives at the scene and provides crucial support, allowing Menu to use a powerful spell to trap Pandemonium. However, she manages to escape and summons a large monster. Meanwhile, Akari decides to use her power to help heal Momo but is confronted by a clone of Pandemonium. She reveals that due to Akari's repeated resets of the timeline, it is causing the world to slowly collapse, weakening the fog wall enough to allowing Pandemonium to squeeze a small portion of her real body through a breach. Pandemonium also reveals to Akari that her attempts to be killed by Menu's hand will be impossible due to more powerful beings like Flare having access to the astral archive interfering. Pandemonium also reveals to Akari that there is a way to return to Japan. Outside, Menu figures out that the monster Pandemonium summoned can only be manifested temporarily before it is pulled back into the fog wall, with the same happening to Pandemonium herself. However, before she is fully pulled back in, she transforms herself into a monster for one final battle against Menu and Ashuna. Menu and Ashuna battle Pandemonium, but they are forced to split up when Pandemonium sends her minions to attack the town. While Ashuna protects the town, Menu is forced to battle Pandemonium alone and is only able to prevail when Ashuna lends her sword and Akari arrives to provide her a weapon. Menu powers up Ashuna's sword with Akari's ether and destroys Pandemonium. As her body dissolves, Pandemonium reveals to Menu that the Sword of Salt, the byproduct of another human error, can destroy any other pure concept, meaning it can kill Akari. Menu is left troubled, wondering what she would do if she found a way to ensure Akari wouldn't be a threat without killing her. Akari once again suppresses her memory, and the two decide to continue their journey. Meanwhile, Momo sees Menu's growing friendship with Akari and vows to kill Akari in Menu's stead. Manon is revived by another Pandemonium fragment, and it is implied Pandemonium is Manon's older sister, having been sent to this world far ahead of her mother. Manon agrees to help Pandemonium spread chaos across the world. Elsewhere, Flare is informed that Pandemonium and the Mechanical Society human errors are beginning to become active. Encouraged by this news, Flare resolves to kill Menu again in order to continue forcing Akari to reset the timeline.